Welcome to the Joyage Kingdom. In today's Brutally Honest review video, we'll be covering Tom Bilyeu's Impact Theory Founders Key NFT project. This project is going to be very interesting for me to cover because I have a lot of bias here. Tom is one of my favorite human beings on earth, but I will do my very best to stay neutral here and tell you guys what is important, what's not important, and the things you need to be thinking about if you're going to invest in this project. In our last review, we covered Hate Beasts. That video did freaking insane. So if you've been enjoying all the Brutally Honest reviews, enjoying all the founders podcasts, like talking to the CEOs and founders of these projects, I appreciate you smashing that thumbs up button. It helps so much, you have no idea. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter at Cade Bergman, and let's get into it. So if we have a look at Impact Theory's Founders Key, we've got a floor price of 0.069, 1.6 thousand Ethereum traded, 5,000 owners, 16.5 thousand items. So we have the Relentless keys. These were like the cheapest one, the lowest tier. We have the Heroic, which was the mid tier, looks like this. And we have the Legendary, and the floor for the Legendary is 1.7 Ethereum. Obviously, these are going to be access tokens, access type of NFTs. These aren't going to be your profile picture NFT projects. But if we look at the sales here, a shit ton of volume, and I think there's a little bit of a reason for that. I know Tom went on Twitter a couple days ago and made a tweet, and I want to talk about that real quick. So before I show you the tweet, I just want to tell you guys who Tom Bilyeu is, co-founder of Quest Nutrition, that protein bar that everybody knows about. It's like $1 billion company, who also is like the dopest, deepest human being fucking ever.
Love inspiration and motivation, but it is the neurological equivalent of candy. You just have to find something that's way more grounded. You need a mission, you need a grand why, you need to know what it is. And this is not a discovery, it's a thing you decide.
In his podcast called Impact Theory, it's just about life and talking to people who are smart and talking to people who are like doing things different. And literally his podcast saved my actual life when I was in the car living, traveling, and I was going through like horrible depression, traveling around the country, wasn't sure what to do, where to go, and being in his, like, listening to his podcast. And I don't want to go far in depth in it, but he literally changed my life. So I just want to be transparent with you guys because I'm covering his project, and I'm invested in his project. I'm holding one of the Relentless keys. So he made this post. Apparently something went wrong with the project, or something wasn't like going right. So he made this tweet thing, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But basically, I told him, I just want to invest in you, in the Theory brand. You saved my life in a car. I'm a holder for life. I don't care. Which is true. That's how I look at this project. And he fucking responded to me. He said, "Stories like this hit me so hard. Hope you're doing well." And so honestly, I implemented some of the things that you taught me, and it fucking worked. Basically, that's what I said. And he said, "Amazing. Looking forward to get you for you to get a Legendary key." And that was crazy because I literally put out a tweet. That's my actual hero, like my number one dude, and he literally responded to my tweet, which is insane. So thanks, Tom, if you're watching this. And if you want to come on the podcast, and usually after I do these Brutally Honest reviews of the projects, I'll invite the founder to come onto the podcast, and I've interviewed people of like Doodles, Bungie, Coin Games, Supducks, and so I'd love to get you on. I think he maybe dove into this NFT world and had a few things that he thought he had figured out, and went in kind of like ready to go, and then things just didn't go as fast as he wanted, as smoothly as he wanted. I'm sure there are people in there saying like, why hasn't the floor gone 20x? I think he actually might be overthinking this as far as the long term. I think maybe short term, this is like a really big deal and this matters. But some of the things he was saying, I was like, yeah, but if you're a holder for life, like you wouldn't really care about some of these things, you know? And so I think for him, he said something like, I made a huge mistake here. I should have done this, I should have done that. And I was like, dude, to be totally honest, like I don't give a fuck about that. I think these kind of things only pander to like short-term flippers and people who don't actually give a shit about Impact Theory. And I think that's important for Tom to remember because he built his brand the right way. And I just want him to remember that when you build an NFT project, it's the same shit. It's just a startup business basically. But this is more of an extension of Impact Theory. And so for most of your perks that are access focused, and this is wonderful for what you're trying to build, Tom, but I do want to say one thing. I don't want this to sound like I'm lecturing you because I'm literally not. And I'm younger. What I'm trying to say is I know you're emotionally and businessly mature enough to handle constructive criticism from a 23-year-old kid. I think you actually might be confusing your project with the profile picture project, which it's not. And I think you might be comparing your project, which is a very specific type of project with a specific type of person you're trying to get, with the kind of project like whoever that's trying to raise with a bunch of hype and demand with all these random utilities and, you know, instantly like having a triple X on the floor or whatever. And I think you need to remember that you're trying to cultivate something long-term and real that's an extension of your brand rather than starting an NFT project from scratch like a lot of these projects that I think you're comparing yourself to. Because in my eyes, when I was looking at this research, everything looks solid. Like there's nothing that gives me red flag. So I don't know how much you're in the know as far as like NFT conversations. Like I don't know how many Twitter spaces you're going in and how often you're staying in the community. But for me, I like to stay as out of the picture as possible, as observing and kind of like sitting on the sidelines as possible, because it's the only way I'm able to notice things like that. Because I really don't think your project has anything to be ashamed about. I think it's great, and I think people just maybe don't have a long enough term of vision as you do. And for people like us who have a long-term vision, it's kind of hard to convince people to drink the juice that we're drinking when we're looking at a totally different everything. And while I think it is a bit irrelevant, I do think it was also necessary. I do think you probably did have to make that tweet and be transparent and being communicative. And I think when you are being communicative as much as you are, you do have to address things like on a day-to-day basis while also maintaining the long-form vision. And I think the more you can just spread that message, the more people can just become more educated in the NFT space. It's also worth bringing up again is that when you were talking about doing this project a long time ago, Tom, before you had started it, you mentioned that you're trying to build something different. And if you're trying to build something different, you know this more than anybody else. Different means you're in uncharted territory. People who are in this project should not be expecting the same as other projects. They should be expecting something different. And if you're providing something different, I think working that angle and saying, guys, this is not exactly who we are, what we're trying to do, this is what we're trying to do. It's time to like sort of switch our expectations and standards here and kind of realign ourselves. So in their Discord, I think they have way too many channels here, which I'm actually going to start talking about with other projects too. There's just too much shit in here. And I know there's a lot of people, but there's no way people are looking at all these different channels. I think it feels like you need to have all these channels, but I think you can condense these a little bit. So in the Discord, this is something that they talked about in their README thing. It says, when moon, and they said a better question is why moon? Do your own research, spend time, connect with people. This is the exact kind of mindset you want to see from NFT founders, and it's very good that he has this mindset. And there's something he said in a TikTok or some kind of speech that I saw him saying. He said he doesn't look at NFTs as an investment. I don't remember what he said after that, but from what I took from it, I thought to myself, damn, he's so right. NFTs are not really an investment. One, for most people, they're gambling, but for me, it's more like exchanging my money for Chuck E. Cheese tokens, right? You ever been to Chuck E. Cheese or Blackbeard's Cove? You exchange a $20 bill for a bunch of tokens that you can use to play at a video game arcade or something, or do like golf carts or whatever. And you're exchanging your money, and the only way to win an NFT land or to get to be the best at Chuck E. Cheese is to play the game. You got to go to Chuck E. Cheese. You got to change your money a lot and play with the tokens and play with the games and learn and connect with people and figure out the tricks of the trade. And it's the same with the NFT world. That's how I look at it, and that's what he was talking about in the speech. And so I know for a fact he's got the right mindset. He's got the right money. He's got the right connections. He's got all the right things to make this project work long term. And that's why I really think that tweet storm that he said, where he was really like sad and upset about not being able to like push through or like show people whatever. I think that's mainly for the people who just are sitting there and they used like all their money to invest in an NFT, and now they're like annoyed that it won't go up. And I'm like, but if you weren't going to sell it, who the fuck cares what the floor is, you know? So as I said, he is the founder and he's like the big dude. He's like, it's basically like a Gary V Friends kind of thing, right? And so these access keys are exactly that. They're access to him and his brand. It's an extension of the Impact Theory brand, which again, I know a lot about this because I already knew about Tom before this NFT project. And so I just want to let you guys know, this isn't a project that you really want to probably get into unless you know Tom and you like respect Tom and you fuck with his brand and his message and his impact theory, because like that, like these kind of projects where it's like focused on the community, it just doesn't work if you're not actually invested in the project. So we sold all of them in tiers by Dutch auctions, and so I was able to snag in Relentless Key at 0.1 Ethereum, and I've still been holding that. I'm not really gonna get rid of that. In full disclosure, I'm gonna get a legendary key just because I fucking love Tom and I want to be part of his brand. But I do not want anyone to buy an Impact Theory key unless like you've done your own research and like you actually like Tom, and that would be the only reason you invest. I'm not looking to flip this. I don't give a shit if the floor goes up or down. So he has all these ideas. He's got a lot of connections. He's a famous dude, especially online. A lot of people respect him. So having someone like this at the forefront of your NFT project, where this is literally his main objective in life now at this point, which he's talked about many times on his YouTube videos. He has an entire YouTube channel with over 2.5 million subscribers. And so he does the content side, guys. He is a #1 master at content, which is why I'm so bullish in this project long term, because I'm bullish on his brand. Like the brand of Tom Bilyeu and Impact Theory will be here. It will transcend all these stupid projects that are in these new projects that are going to fade in 2 or 3 months. Impact Theory's been here for a long time and will be here for an even longer time. And that's why this is a project that if you're looking to just buy, hold, and forget, this is the kind of project you should be looking at, the kind of project you should look at. Not this one specifically, but this sort of project where you're investing in a brand that you think will be here in 20 years. That's a lot more stable and safe than a project that you've never heard of with anonymous founders. So here's their website. They've got 3 tiers. They have the legendary tier 1. With this one, you get the right to partner, 3 free mints, direct access to Tom and the team, partnership perks, which for me, that's already enough. Like that's already enough for me to want to be part of that one just because I love Tom so much. Heroic, did you get whitelist on select NFT drops, 1 free mint, 50% off physical merch, 30% off virtual merch. Again, these kind of things only work if you fuck with Tom and Impact Theory brand. And that's the power of having your own personal brand, is that people do want this. And that's why these projects have held on to some of their value.
It's the same concept as to why VeeFriends works and will work long term, because of Gary and because this is his #1 priority.
And the Relentless, this is more for just people who wanted to participate. And like that was me. Basically, I didn't have that much money. I just want to be part of the project. And so this is what this is. You don't really get too much out of it. Just you get to invest in the project of Impact Theory. So here's their roadmap. They've got a bunch of different things. Honestly, I feel like it was actually too much when he came out with this, but I think it's just because he literally has so many connections and he has so much availability to do anything he wants. So honestly, what I get from this roadmap is he's basically like, dude, we're about to do everything. And he has the power and he has the means and he has the access to do it. So I do think he's going to get most of this shit done. For me, it doesn't matter because I'm looking at this long term. I'm more looking at Tom and Impact Theory and thinking, will this be a bigger brand in 5 years? And for me, the answer is likely yes, because he's fucking smart and he's a billionaire businessman and he's a mass marketer. He's got all the things going for him. He's doing everything right. He's hustling. He's posting every single day, basically. He's doing all the things right. He's doing everything I'm doing and I'm winning. So they got like live events, Impact Theory University, where he kind of talks about how to fucking win in life. And so that's pretty cool. I assume you'll get some kind of access to that. They've got different things with the metaverse, sandbox things like a lot of projects do, and just like a bunch of collabs. But down here you get to hear about the Impact Theory brand, which is like a legit brand. Again, it's been here for a long fucking time, and that's the difference between this kind of project and a Moonboy project where you don't know anything about anybody. They've never done anything. Tom Bilyeu's run a $1 billion business. That is a huge thing to think about. You guys remember after I interviewed Greg Norman, the CEO of Bungie Project, I was like, damn, there's another level to this, and you kind of have to have people at this level to maintain a brand over the long period. And so the other founder is Lisa. This is his wife, and they actually have done a podcast together where they talked about relationships and building and growing as people, and it was actually really fucking powerful. So if you want to watch that, I'm not going to link it, but like, you know, you could just look this up. It's a great episode. They're both fucking awesome. They're all over the internet. People fuck with these people, guys, and again, this is something I've talked about on my videos. If you fuck with the team and they're doing cool shit, that's recipe for success. You know, they're both just like serial entrepreneurs, just beasts in the business world, beasts in the content world. It's everything you would want running your projects. I think it's been a bit of a lackluster entrance for the Impact Theory founders. I think it's just a bit of an overstatement. I don't mind projects starting slow. I don't think it's bad. I think he just wanted to get out and like do this NFT thing. And I think there's just a lot of things when you make an NFT project, you're like, damn, this isn't exactly what I thought, or I couldn't exactly do this the way I thought I could. And I think he's learning, but the thing is with Tom is his whole life is just him going, I want to do that. How do I become literally the best in the entire world at it? And he's literally done it multiple times, and he's now got one of the greatest shows literally on the whole internet. And so I have no doubt he will figure it out, and having this NFT, having access to someone like him who's a Gary Vee type of figure in the space. I'm honestly surprised his project didn't make more ripples in the space. It could just be because they didn't have like a fire explosion start like VeeFriends kind of did. One thing I will say that he could probably do better on is on his main YouTube channel. I think he should start making like every other video NFT related, or make a second channel or something and just talk about NFTs more. Become the NFT dude, the guy who people associate with NFTs, because it's an extension of your brand. It's only going to help everything. And I'm actually shocked that I don't see your face on Twitter more often, on NFT Twitter. I think I should be seeing your face pop up at least as much as Gary Vee. And I think if it was popping up that much, this project would be going to the fucking moon already. And that's why I wanted to invite you on my podcast so we can just chat about Impact Theory. I'll cut it up. I'll do all the work for you. I'll send you all the shit if you want. And I would love to do that and just kind of pick your brain about the project, kind of hear about the why, the how, the things you messed up on. I think your fans would love to hear something like that, and I would love to facilitate that for you. Anyways, guys, that's about the end of this review. I tried to cover it as least biased as possible and try to take the side of like he's literally a billionaire businessman who's proved himself, and not so much that he's like this guy that I look up to, because I do, but I am able to take this out from an objective point of view and say, even if I didn't even know who he was, I would still sort of be bullish, you know? So if you enjoyed this video, if you learned anything, smash like in this video. It only takes 1 second. I appreciate all of you liking the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to see more of me right now, click on one of these boxes on either side of me. Until next time, continue on your Joyage. Continue to learn and be grateful you're alive watching this video. Bye.